It was upon this fashion bequeathed me by will but poor 1,000 crowns, and, as thou sayest, charged my brother, on his blessing, to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. My brother Jock he keeps at school, and report speaks goldenly of his profit. For my part, he keeps me rustically at home. His horses are bred better, but I, his brother, gain nothing. Besides this nothing that he so plentifully gives me, the something that nature gave me his countenance seems to take from me. He lets me feed with his hinds, bars me the place of a brother. This is it, Adam, that grieves me, and the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it, though yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Go apart, Adam, and thou shalt hear how he will shake me up.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I'm not taught to make anything.
What mar you then, sir?
Marry, sir, I'm helping you to mar that which God made. A poor, unworthy brother of yours, with idleness.
Marry, sir, be better employed, and be not a while.
Shall I keep your hogs and eat husks with them? What prodigal portion have I spent, that I should come to such penury?
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well. Here, in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
I, better than him I am before, knows me. I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood, you should so know me. I have as much of my father in me as you, albeit I confess, your coming before me is nearer to his reverence.
What, boy?
Ah! Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain.
Ah!
I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy arm till this other had pulled out thy tongue for saying so.
Sweet masters, be patient. For your father's remembrance, be at accord.
Let me go, I say.
I will not till I please.
Ah!
You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education. You have trained me like a peasant, obscuring and hiding from me all gentlemanlike qualities. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, allow me such exercises as may become a gentleman, or give me the poor allotment my father left me by testament. With that, I will go buy my fortunes.
And what wilt thou do? Beg when that is spent? Well, sir, get you in. I will not long be troubled with you. You shall have some part of your will. I pray you leave me.
I will no further offend you than becomes me for my own good.
Get you with him, you old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most true, I have lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master. He would not have spoke such a word.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me? I will physic your rankness, and yet give no 1,000 crowns neither. Holla, Dennis!
Galls, your worship.
It's not Charles, the Duke's wrestler, come to speak with me.
So please you, he is here at the door and importunes access to you.
Call him in. 'Twill be a good way. And tomorrow the wrestling is.
Good morrow to your worship.
Good Monsieur Charles. What's the new news at the new court?
There's no news at the court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old duke is banished by his younger brother, the new duke.
Where will the old Duke live?
They say he is already in the forest of Arden, and of many merry men with him. And there they live like the old Robin Hood of England.
What, you wrestle tomorrow before the new Duke?
Marry, do I, sir? And I came to acquaint you with the matter. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother Orlando hath a disposition to come in against me to try a fall. Tomorrow, sir, I wrestle for my credit, and he that escapes me without some broken limb shall acquit him well. Therefore, out of my love to you, I came hither to acquaint you withal, that you might stay, Orlando.
Charles, I thank thee for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite. I'll tell thee, Charles, it is the stubbornest young fellow of France, a secret and villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. Therefore, use thy discretion. I had as lief thou didst break his neck as his finger, for I assure thee, and almost with tears do I speak it, he shall practice against thee by poison, entrap thee by some treacherous device, and never leave thee till he hath taken thy life through some indirect means or other. There is not one so young and so villainous this day living.
I am heartily glad I came hitherto. If he come tomorrow, I'll give him this payment. If ever he go alone again, I'll never wrestle for prize more. And so God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. I hope I shall see an end of him. For my soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than he.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my coz, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of. Unless you could teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Herein I see thou lovest me not with the full weight that I love thee. If my uncle, thy banished father, had banished thy uncle, the Duke, my father, so thou hadst been still with me, I could have taught my love to take thy father for mine. So wouldst thou, if the truth of thy love to me was so righteously tempered as mine is to thee.
Well, I will forget the condition of my estate to rejoice in yours.
You know my father hath no child but I, nor none is like to have, and truly, when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken away from thy father perforce, I will render thee again in affection. By mine honour, I will. And when I break that oath, let me turn monster. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
From henceforth I will, cuz. How now, wit? Whither wander you?
Mistress, you must come away to your father.
Were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor, but I was bid to come for you.
Where learned you that oath, fool?
Of a certain knight that swore by his honor they were good pancakes, and swore by his honor the syrup was not. Now, I'll stand to it. The pancakes were not, and the syrup was good, and yet was not the knight forsworn.
I'll prove you that, in the great heap of your knowledge.
I marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both forth now. Stroke your chins and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I were. But if you swear by that is not, you are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honor, for he never had any. Or if he had sworn it away before he ever saw those pancakes or that syrup.
Here comes Monsieur Le Bon,
With his mouth full of news.
which he shall put upon us as pigeons feed their young.
Then shall we be news crammed.
All the better, we shall be the more marketable. Bonjour, Monsieur Le Beau. What's the news?
Fair princess, you have lost much good sport. I would have told you of good wrestling, which you have lost the sight of.
Shall we see this wrestling,
You
cousin?
must if you stay here, for here is the place appointed for the wrestling, and they are ready to perform
Up
in.
yonder, sure, they're coming. Let us now stay and see.
Come on, since the youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madam.
Alas, he is too young.
How now, daughter and cousin? Are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Aye, my liege, so please you give us leave.
In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, lady, see if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur Le Beau.
Do so, I'll not be by.
Monsieur the challenger, the princesses call for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess. He's the general challenger. I come but in, as others do, to try with him the strength of my youth.
Young gentleman, your spirits are too bold for your years. We pray you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir.
I beseech you, let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein, if I be foiled, there is but one shame that was never gracious. If killed, but one dead that was willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me. The world no injury, for in it I have nothing.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine, to eke out hers.
Come! Where is this young gallant that is so desirous to lie with this Mother Earth?
And you mean to mock me after? You should not have mocked me before. But come your way!
Now, Hercules be thy speed, young man.
I would I were invisible to catch the strong fellow by the leg.
Excellent, young man.
If I had a thunderbolt in mine eye, I can tell who should down.
No more!
Yes, beseech your grace. I'm not yet well breathed.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Bois.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but I did find him still mine enemy. Thou shouldst have better pleased me with this deed hadst thou descended from another house. But fare thee well. Thou art a gallant youth. I would thou hadst told me of another father.
Were I my father, cuz would I do this?
I'm more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling, to be adopted heir to Frederick.
My father loved Sir Roland as his soul.
Gentle cousin, let us go thank him and encourage him. My father's rough and envious disposition sticks me at heart. Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises in love, but justly, as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune that could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cousin?
Aye. Fare you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say, I thank you?
He calls us back. My pride fell with my fortunes. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
Have with you. Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown!
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place, albeit you have deserved high commendation. Yet such is now the Duke's condition that he misconstrues all that you have done.
I thank you, sir, and pray you, tell me this. Which of the two was daughter of the Duke that Hugh was at the wrestling?
Neither his daughter, if we judge by manners, but yet indeed the shorter is his daughter. The other is daughter of the banished Duke. But I can tell you that of late this Duke hath ta'en displeasure against his gentle niece, grounded upon no other argument but that the people praise her for her virtues and pity her for her good father's sake. And on my life, his malice against the lady will suddenly break forth. Sir, fare you well.
I rest much bounded to you. Fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant Duke unto a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind!
Why, cousin? Why, Rosalind? Oh, Cupid, have mercy, not a word.
Not one to throw at a dog.
But is all this for your father?
No, some of it is for my child's father.
Come, come, wrestle with my
I take the part of a better wrestler than myself.
Is it possible, on such a sudden, that you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Roland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensue you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase, I should hate him. For my father hated his father dearly, yet I hate not Orlando.
Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest haste and get you from our court.
Me, uncle!
You, cousin, within these 10 days, if that thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, let me the knowledge of my faults bear with me. Never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Thou art thy father's daughter, there's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord. Or, if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor. Then, good my liege, mistake me not so much to think my poverty is treacherous.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia, we stayed her for your sake. Else had she with her father ranged along.
If she be traitor, why, so am I.
Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool. You, niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, upon mine honor and in the greatness of my word, you die.
Poor Rosalind. Whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I pray thee, be thou not more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not. Prithee, be cheerful. Knowest thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love which teaches thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No. Let my father seek another heir. For by this heaven, now at our sorrows pale, say what thou canst. I'll go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us, maids as we are, to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, the like do you, and so shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better that I did suit me all points like a man? I'll have a swashing and a martial outside, as many other mannish cowards have, that do outface it with their semblances.
But what shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page, and therefore look you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
But cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
He'll go along o'er the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Come, let's away. Now go we in content, to liberty, and not to banishment.
Who's there?
What? My young master! Oh, my gentle master, oh, my sweet master, oh, you memory of old Sir Rowland. Why, what make you here? Why would you be so fond to overcome the bonny wrestler of the headstrong Duke? Your praise is come too swiftly home before you.
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth! Your brother hath heard your praise, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. I overheard him in his practices. This is no place. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it, fear it, do not enter it.
Why, whither, Adam, wouldst thou have me go?
No matter whither, so you come not here.
What, wouldst thou have me go and beg my food? Or the base and boisterous sword enforces thievish living on the common road? This I must do, or know not what to do. I rather will subject me to the malice of a diverted blood and bloody brother.
But do not so. I have 500 crowns, the thrifty hire I saved unto your father. Be comfort to my age. Here is the gold, and all this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. I'll do the service of a younger man in all your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man. We'll go along together, and ere we have thy youthful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp with truth and loyalty. From 17 years till now almost 80, here lived I, but now live here no more.
Not see him since. Sir, that cannot be. Ah! But look to it. Find out thy brother, wheresoe'er he is. Seek him with candle. Bring him dead or living within this 12-month, or turn thou no more to seek a living in our territory. Thy lands and all things that thou dost call thine worth seizure do we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou. Well, push him out of doors. And let my officers of such a nature make an extent upon his house and lands. Do this expediently and turn him going.
Oh, Jupiter, how weary are my spirits!
I care not for my spirits if my legs were not
I
weary.
could find in my heart to disgrace my man's apparel and to cry like a woman.
I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than bear you.
Well, this is the Forest of Arden!
Now am I in Arden! The more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place. But travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good touchstone. Look you who comes here, a young man and an old and solemn talk.
That is the way, beggar. Scorn you still?
Oh, Corin, that
Thou knewst how I do love her. I partly guess, for I have loved ere now. No, Corin. Being old, thou canst not guess. Though in thy youth thou wast as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, as sure I think did never man love so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasies? Into 1,000 that I have forgotten. Oh, then thou didst never love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not sat, as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress's praise, thou hast not loved. Or, if thou hast not broke from company abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe!
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
And I mine.
I pray you, one of you question yond man if he for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death. Holla, you clown!
Peace, fool, he's not thy kinsman.
Who call?
Your betters, sir.
Else are they very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good evening to you, friend.
And to you, gentle sir, and to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that love or gold can in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. Here's a young maid with travel much oppressed and faints for succor.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish, for her sake more than for mine own, my riches were more able to relieve her. But I am a shepherd to another man, and do not shear the fleeces that I graze. My master is of churlish disposition, and little recks to find the way to heaven by doing deeds of hospitality. Besides, his coat, his flocks, and bounds of feed are now on sale, and in our sheepcote now, by reason of his absence, there is nothing that you will feed on. But what is, come see, and in my voice, most welcome shall you be.
I pray thee, if it stand with honesty, buy thou the cottage, pasture, and the flock, and thou shalt have to pay for it of us.
And we shall mend thy wages. I like this place, and willingly could waste my time in it.
Assuredly, the thing is to be sold. Go with me. If you like, upon report, the soil, the profit, and this kind of life, I will your very faithful feeder be, and buy it with your gold right suddenly.
Sweet master, I can go go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, kind master.
How now, Adam? No greater heart can be. If this uncouth forest yields anything savage, I will either be food for it, or bring it for food to thee. For my sake, be comfortable. Hold death awhile at the arm's end. I will here be with thee presently, and if I bring thee not something to eat, I will give thee leave to die. Come, I will bear thee to some shelter. Thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner, if there live anything in this desert. Cheerly, good Adam.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we but the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, as the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. I would not change it.
Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, I prithee, more.
My voice is ragged, and I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing.
More at your request than to please myself.
Well then, if ever I thank any man, I'll thank you. Come, sing. And you that will not, hold your tongues.
Well, I'll end the song. Sirs, cover the while. The Duke will drink under this tree. He hath been all this day to look you.
And I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my company. I think of as many matters as he, but I give heaven thanks and make no boast of them. Come, Warble, come.
Who doth ambition shun, all together here, and love to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats, and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday, in despite of my invention.
And I'll sing it.
Thus it goes. If it do come to pass that any man turn ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please, Duke Dummy, Duke Dummy, Duke Dummy, here shall he see grows fools as he, and if he will come to me.
What's that, Duke Dame?
It's a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. I'll go sleep if I can. If I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
Forbear and eat no more.
What have eaten none yet?
Nor shout not till necessity be served.
Of what kind should this cock come of?
Art thou thus boldened, man, by thy distress, or else a rude despiser of good manners, that in civility thou seemst so empty?
The thorny point of bare distress had ta'en for me the show of smooth civility. Yet am I inland bred and know some nurture. But forbear, I say, he dies that touches any of this fruit till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason. I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed, and welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I in the countenance of stern commandment. If ever you have looked on better days, if ever from your eyelids wiped a tear, and know what 'tis to pity and be pity, let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and have with holy bell been knolled to church, and sat at good men's feasts, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. And therefore sit you down in gentleness, and take upon command what help we have that to your wanting may be ministered.
Then but forbear your food a little while. There is an old poor man, who after me hath many a weary step limped in pure love, till he first be sufficed, oppressed with 2 weak evils, age and hunger. I will not touch a bit.
Go find him out, and we will nothing waste till you return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. And then the whining schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like furnace, with a woeful ballad made to his mistress' eyebrow. Then a soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly with good cape and line, with eye severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The 6th age shifts into the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch on side, his youthful hose well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again toward childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. Last scene of all, that ends this strange eventful history, is second childishness, mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden and let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
So had you need, I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome. Fall to. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousins sing.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind, as men sing gratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen, because thou art not seen. Although thy breath be rude, hi-ho, sing hi-ho, unto Then hi-ho the holly, this life is most jolly. Freeze, freeze, thou bitter skies, thou dost not bite so nice as benefits forgot. Though thou the waters warp, thy sting is not so sharp as friends remembered not. Hi-ho, sing hi-ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is fading, most loving mere folly. Then hi-ho the holly, this life is most jolly.
If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, as you have whispered faithfully you were, be truly welcome hither. I am the duke that loved your father, the residue of your fortune. Go to my cave and tell me. Good old man, thou art right welcome as thy master is. Support him by the arm. Give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
Hi-ho, sing hi-ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is fading, most loving mere folly. Then hi-ho the holly, this life is most jolly.
Hang there, my verse, and witness of my love. And thou, thrice-crowned queen of night, survey with thy chaste eye, from thy pale sphere above, thy huntress's name that my full life doth sway. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts all character, that every eye which in the forest looks shall see thy virtue, witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree, the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
And how like you this shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life. But in respect it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect that it is solitary, I like it very well. But in respect that it is private, it is a very vile life. Now, in respect it is in the field, it pleaseth me well. But in respect it is not in the court, it is tedious. As it is a spare life, look you, it fits my humor well. But as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more but that I know the more one sickens, the worse it is he is. And that he that wants money, means, and content is without three good friends. That the property of rain is to wet, and fire to burn. That good pasture makes fat sheep, and that a great cause of the night is lack of the sun. That he that hath learned no wit by nature, nor art, may complain of good breeding, or comes of a very dull kindred.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Was never at court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned.
Oh, for not being at court? Your reason?
Why, if thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, thy manners must be wicked, and wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. Those that are good manners at the court are as ridiculous in the country as the behavior of the country is most mockable at the court. You told me you salute not at the court, but you kiss your hands. Well, that courtesy would be uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance, briefly. Come, instance.
Why, we're still handling our ewes and their fells, you know, greasy.
Why, do not your courtiers' hands sweat? And is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow, shallow, a better instance, I say. Come.
Oh, you have too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest damned? God help thee, shallow man. God make incision in thee. Thou art a raw.
Sir, I am a true laborer. I earn that I eat, get that I wear. Oh, no man hate, envy no man's happiness. I'm glad of other men's good, content with my heart. And the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck.
That is another simple sin in you, to bring the ewes and the rams together to offer to get your living by the copulation of cattle, to be bawd to a bellwether, and to betray a she-lamb of a 12-month to a crooked-pated old cuckoldy ram out of all reasonable match. If thou beest not damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds. I cannot see how else thou should escape.
Here comes young Master Ganymede, my new mistress's brother.
From the east to western Ind, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth, being mounted on the wind through all the world, bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no fair be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind.
I'll rhyme you so 8 years together, dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted, for a taste. If a hart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosalind. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. Sweet as gnat that towers shrine, such a nut is Rosalind. He that sweet as rose will find most fineless prickle. And Rosalind. This is the very false scalp of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool! I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
Peace. Here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Why should this a desert be? For it is unpeopled? No. Stones I'll hang on every tree, but upon the fairest boughs, or at every sentence end, will I, Rosalinda, write, teaching all that read to know, Helen's cheek, but not her heart, Cleopatra's majesty, Atalanta's better part, sad Lucretia's modesty. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live and die her slave. How now, back, friends. Shepherd, come off a little. Go with him, Sarah.
Come, shepherd, we must make an honorable retreat.
Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh yes, I heard them all, and more too.
Trow you, who hath done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore around his neck. Change you colour?
I prithee, who?
Oh, Lord! Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful! Wonderful! And yet again, wonderful! Wonderful! And once more, wonderful! And after that, out of all whooping.
Good my complexion, dost thou think, though I am caparison like a man, that I have a doublet and hose in my disposition? I prithee, take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, or his chin worth a beard?
Oh, nay, he hath but a little beard.
Why, God will send more if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard, if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando! That hath tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak, sad brow and true maid. If faith goes, 'tis he. Orlando.
Orlando!
Alas the day! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? And when shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first.
But doth he know that I am in this forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
I found him under a tree, like a dropped acorn.
It may well be called Jove's tree when it drops forth such fruit.
But give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous. He comes to kill my heart.
I did sing my song. Without a burden, thou bringest me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? When I think I must speak. Sweet, say on.
You bring me out. Soft, comes he not here?
'Tis he. Slink by and note him.
company, but good faith, I had as lief have been myself alone.
And so had I. But yet, for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
God be with you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you, no more trees writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you, mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atlantis' heels. Will you sit down with me, and we two will rail against our mistress the world and all our misery?
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue. I'm weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good Signor Love.
I'm glad of your departure. Adieu, good Mr. Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forster?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is the clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had that not been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, who time gallops withal, and who he stands still withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Marry, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but a sennight, time's pace is so hard that it seems the length of 7 years.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. These time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows, for though he go as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term and term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With the shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase and so remove to dwell in.
I have been told so of many, but indeed an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
No, I will not cast away my physic but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest, that abuses our young plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the sickness of love upon him.
I'm he that is so love-shaped. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not, a blue eye and sunken, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I woulda could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it? You may as soon make her that you love believe it. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am that he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me, his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me. At which time would I, now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him, that I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness. And this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind and come every day to my cote and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?
Come apace, good Audrey. I will fetch up your goats, Audrey. And how, Audrey, am I the man yet? Doth my simple feature content you?
Your features. Lord warrant us, what features.
I am here with thee and thy goats, as the most capricious poet, honest Ovid, was among the Goths.
Oh, knowledge ill inhabited, worse than Jove in a thatched house.
When a man's verses cannot be understood, nor a man's good wit seconded with the forward child understanding, it strikes a man more dead than a great reckoning in a little room. Truly, I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest indeed and word? Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is the most feigning, and lovers are given to poetry, and what they swear in poetry may be said, as lovers they do feign.
Do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
I do truly, for thou swearest to me thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou wert hard-favored. For honesty coupled with beauty is to have honey, a sauce to sugar.
A material fool.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
Truly, and to cast away honesty upon a foul slut were to put good meat into an unclean dish.
Well, I am not a slut, though I thank the gods I am foul.
Well, praise be the gods for thy foulness. Sluttishness may come hereafter. But, be it as it may be, I will marry thee. And to that end I have been with Sir Oliver Martext, the vicar of the next village, who hath promised to meet me in this place of the forest, and to couple us!
I would fain see this meeting.
Well, the gods give us joy.
Amen. Oh, here comes Sir Oliver. Sir Oliver Martext, you are well met. Will you dispatch us here under this tree, or shall we go with you to your chapel?
Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take her on gift of any man.
Truly, she must be given,
Or the marriage is not lawful.
Proceed, proceed. I'll give her.
Good even, good master. What ye call it? How do you, sir? You are very well met. God illed you for your last company. I am very glad to see you. Even a toy in hand here, sir. Nay, pray be covered.
Will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath his bow, sir, the horse his curb, and the falcon her bells, so man hath his desires. And as pigeons build, so wedlock would be nibbling.
And will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get you to church, and have a good priest that can tell you what marriage is. This fellow will but join you together as they join wainscot, then one of you will prove a shrunk panel, and like green timber, warp, warp.
I am not in the mind, but I were better to be married of him than of another, for he is not like to marry me well, and not being well married, it will be a good excuse for me hereafter to leave my wife.
Go thou with me, and let me counsel thee.
Come, sweet Audrey, we must be married, or we must live in bond. Farewell, good Master Oliver. Not, oh, sweet Oliver, oh, brave Oliver, leave me not behind thee, but wind away. Be gone, I say. I will not
is no matter. No fantastical knave of them all shall flout me out of my calling.
Never talk to me, I will weep.
Oh, do, I prithee. But yet have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
As good cause as one would desire, therefore, weep.
His very hair is of the dissembling color.
Something browner than Judas's, marry. His kisses are Judas's own children.
Faith, his hair is of a good color.
An excellent color. Your chestnut was ever the only color.
And his kissing is as full of sanctity as the touch of holy bread.
The very ice of chastity is in them.
But why did he swear he would come this morning and comes not?
Nay, certainly, there's no truth in him.
Do you think so?
Yes. I think he's not a pick-purse nor a horse-stealer, but for his verity in love, I do think him as concave as a covered goblet or a worm-eaten nut.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in, but I think he is not in.
You have heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. He attends here in the forest on the Duke, your father.
I met the Duke yesterday and had much question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was. I told him of as good as he. So he laughed and let me go. But what talk we of fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
Oh, there's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely. But who comes here?
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me. Do not, Phoebe, say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart the accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humble neck, but first begs pardon. Will you sterner be than he that dies and lives by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tell'st me there is murder in mine eye. 'Tis pretty sure, and very probable, that eyes that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates on atomies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now I do frown on thee with all my heart, and if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now, counterfeit to swoon, why now fall down, or if thou canst not, oh, for shame, lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Now, show the wound mine eye hath made in thee, scratch thee but with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. But now mine eyes, which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not, nor, I am sure, there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Oh, dear Phoebe, if ever, as that ever may be near, you meet in some fresh cheek the power of fancy, then shall you know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me, and when that time comes, afflict me with thy mocks. Pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother, that you insult, exult, and all at once over the wretched? What, though you have no beauty, must you be therefore proud and pitiless? Why, what means this? Why do you look on me? Odds my little life, I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. Not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeballs, nor your cheek of cream that can entame my spirits to your worship. You foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her like foggy south puffing with wind and rain? You are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that makes the world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis not her glass, but you that flatters her, and out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But, mistress, know yourself. Down on your knees, and thank heaven, fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell when you can, you are not for all markets. Right man mercy, love him, take his offer. Foul is most foul, being foul to be a scoffer.
a year together. I had rather hear you chide than this man woo.
I'll sauce her with bitter words. Why look you so upon
For
me?
no ill will I bear you.
I pray you do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. Shepherd, ply her hard. Come, sister. Shepherdess, look on him better, and be not proud. Though all the world could see, none could be so abused in sight as he. Come to our flock.
Dear shepherd, now I find my soft might. Who ever loved that loved not at first sight?
Oh, sweet Phoebe!
Oh, what sayest thou, Silvius?
Oh, sweet Phoebe, pity me!
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Silvius.
Wherever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow in my grief and love, by giving love, your sorrow and my grief were both
Thou
exterminated.
hast my love, is not that neighborly?
I would have you.
Why, that were covetousness. Oh, Silvius, the time was that I hated thee, yet it is not that I bear thee love. But since that thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I will endure, and I'll employ thee too. But do not look for further recompense than thine own gladness that thou art employed.
So holy and so perfect is my love, and I in such a poverty of grace that I shall think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man the main harvest reaps. Loose now and then a scattered smile, and that I'll live upon.
Know'st now the youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I have met him oft.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. Oh, 'tis but a peevish boy, and yet he talks well. Oh, but what care I for words? And yet, words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. It is a pretty youth, not very pretty, but sure he's proud. And yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion, and faster than his tongue did make offense, his eye did heal it up. Oh, he is not very tall. Yet, for his years he's tall. Oh, his leg is but so, and yet 'tis well. Oh, there was a pretty redness in his lip, a little riper and more lusty red than that mixed in his cheek. 'Twas just the difference between the constant red and mingled damask. There be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not. And yet, I have more cause to hate him than to love him. For what had he to do to chide at me? He said mine eyes were black and my hair black. And now I am remembered, scorned at me. Oh, I marvel why I answered not again. But that's all one. A mittens is no quittance. I'll write to him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Silvius?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I'll be bitter with him, and in passing short. Go with me, Silvius.
I prithee, pretty youth, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
I am so. I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in extremity of either are abominable fellows, and betray themselves to every modern censure worse than drunkards.
Why, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Why then, 'tis good to be a post.
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musician's, which is fantastical, nor the courtier's, which is proud, nor the soldier's, which is ambitious, nor the lawyer's, which is politic, nor the lady's, which is nice, nor the lover's, which is all these. But it is a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry's contemplation of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
Traveler, by my faith, you have great reason to be sad. I fear you have sold your own lands to see other men's. Then to have seen much and to have nothing is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad. I had rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad. And to travel for it, too.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Nay then, God be with you. And you talk in blank verse.
Farewell, Monsieur Traveler. Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You a lover, and you served me such another trick. Never come in my sight more.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
Break an hour's promise in love.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Nay, and you be so tardy, I come no more in my sight. I had as lief be wooed of a snail.
Of a snail?
Aye, of a snail. For though he comes slowly, he carries his house on his head. A better jointure, I think, than you make a woman. Besides, he brings his destiny with him.
What's that?
Why, horns.
Virtue is no horn maker, and my Rosalind is virtuous.
And I am your Rosalind.
It pleases him to call you so, that he hath a Rosalind of a better leer than you.
Come, woo me. Woo me, for now I am in a holiday humor and like enough to consent. What would you say to me now, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
Nay, you were better speak first, and when you were grappled for lack of matter, you might take occasion to kiss. Very good orators, when they are out, they will spit, and for lovers lacking, God warn us, matter, the cleanliest shift is to kiss.
How if the kiss be denied?
Then she puts you to entreaty, and there begins new matter.
Who could be out, being before his beloved mistress?
Marry, that should you if I were your mistress, or I should think my honesty ranker than my wit.
What, of my suit?
Not out of your apparel, and yet out of your suit. Am not I your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say you are, because I would be talking of her.
Well, in her person, I say, I will not have you.
Then in mine own person I die.
No, Faith, die by attorney. The poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and in all this time there has not been any man died in his own person. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right Rosalind of this mind, for I protest, a frown might kill me.
By this hand it will not kill a fly. But come, now I will be your Rosalind in a more coming-on disposition, and ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes, Faith, will I. Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Aye, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Why then can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister. You shall be the priest and marry us. Give me your hand, Orlando. What do you say, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the words.
You must begin. Will you, Orlando, have to
Go
wipe-
to... Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Aye, but when?
Why, now, as fast as ye can marry us.
Then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
And I do take thee, Orlando, for my husband. Now tell me how long you would have her, after you have possessed her.
Forever and a day.
Say a day, without the ever. No, no, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his head, more clamorous than a parrot against rain, more newfangled than an ape, more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing like Diana in the fountain, and I will do that when you are disposed to be merry. I will laugh like a hyene, and that when thou art inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so?
By my life, she will do as I do.
Oh, but she is wise.
Or else she could not have the wit to do this. The wiser, the waywarder. Make the doors upon a woman's wit, and it will out at the casement. Shut that, and 'twill out at the keyhole. Stop that, 'twill fly with the smoke out at the chimney.
For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I will leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours.
I must attend the Duke at dinner. By 2 o'clock, I will be with thee again.
Aye, go your ways, go your ways. I knew what you would prove. My friends told me as much, and I thought no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me. 'Tis the one cast away, and so come death. 2 o'clock is your hour?
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
By my troth, and in good earnest, and so God mend me, and by all pretty oaths that are not dangerous, if you break one jot of your promise, or come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her you call Rosalind, that may be chosen out of the gross band of the unfaithful. Therefore, beware my censure, and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou wert indeed my Rosalind. So, adieu.
Well, time is the old justice that examines all such offenders, and lest time try. Adieu.
You have simply misused our sex in your love prate. We must have your doublet and hose plucked over your head and show the world what the bird hath done to her own nest.
Oh, cuz, my pretty little cuz, that thou didst know how many fathom deep I am in love. I'll tell thee, Aliena, I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'll go find a shadow and sigh till he come. Look who comes here.
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I guess by the stern brow and waspish action which she did use as she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but as a guiltless messenger.
Patience herself would startle at this letter and play the swaggerer. Bear this, bear all. She says I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud, and that she could not love me were man as rare as Phoenix. Odds my will, her love is not the hare that I do hunt. Why writes she so to me? Well, shepherd, well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. Phoebe did write it. I know not the contents.
Come, you are a fool and turned into the extremity of love. I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention and his hand.
Sure, it is hers.
Why, 'tis a boisterous and a cruel style, a style for challengers. Why, she defies me. Well, go your way to her, for I see love hath made thee a tame snake, and say this to her, that if she love me, I charge her to love thee. If she will not, I will never have her unless thou entreat for her. If you be a true lover, hence, and not a word. For here comes more company.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray you, if you know, where in the produce of this forest stands a sheep's cote fenced about with olive trees?
West of this place, down in the neighbor bottom, the rank of osiers left by your right hand brings you to the place. But at this hour the house doth keep itself. There's none within.
Are not you the owner of the house I did inquire for?
It is no boast, being asked to say that we are.
Orlando doth commend him to you both, and to that youth he calls his Rosalind. He sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame, if you will know of me what man I am, and how and why and where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you, tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again within an hour, and pacing through the forest, mark what object did present itself. Under an oak, a wretched, ragged man, o'ergrown with hair, lay sleeping on his back. A lioness lay couching, head on ground, with cat-like watch when that the sleeping man should stir. This seen, Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I've heard him speak of that same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
And well he might so do, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando, did he leave him there, food to the hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back and purpose so, but kindness, nobler ever than revenge, and nature, stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which, hurtling from miserable slumber, I awaked.
Are you his brother?
Was't you he rescued?
Was you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
'Twas I, but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes, being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin.
The lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled. And now he fainted, and cried in fainting upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story, that you might excuse his broken promise, and to give this napkin, dyed in his blood, unto the shepherd youth that he doth in sport call his Rosalind.
Why? How now, Ganymede? Sweet Ganymede.
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
Oh, there's more in it. Cousin Ganymede.
Oh, look, he recovers.
I would I were at home.
Well, lead me hither. I pray you, will you take him by the arm?
Be of good cheer, youth. You a man? You lack a man's heart.
I do so, I confess it. Ah, Sirrah, a body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you, tell your brother how well I counterfeited. Hi-ho.
Well then, take a good heart and counterfeit to be a man.
So I do, but in faith I should have been a woman by right.
Come, you look paler and paler. Pray you, draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
We shall find a time, Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey.
Faith, the priest was good, enough for all the old gentlemen's saying.
A most wicked Sir Oliver, Audrey, a most vile Martext. But Audrey, there's a youth here in the forest lays claim to you.
I know who it is. He hath no interest in me in the world. Oh, here comes the man you mean.
It is meat and drink to me to see a clown. By my troth, we that have good wits have much to answer for. We shall be flouting. We cannot hold.
Good even, Audrey.
God ye good even, William.
And good even to you, sir.
Good even, gentle friend. Cover thy head, cover thy head. Nay, prithee, be covered. How old are you, friend?
5 and 20, sir.
A ripe age. Is thy name William?
William, sir.
A fair name. Was born in the forest here?
Aye, sir. I thank God.
Thank God! A good answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir.
So-so.
So-so is good, very excellent good. And yet, it is not, it is but so-so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir. I have a pretty wits.
Why, thou sayest well. I do now remember a saying, the fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. You do love this maid?
I do, sir.
Give me your hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. To have is to have, for it is a figure in rhetoric that drink, being poured from a cup into a glass, by filling the one doth empty the other. For all your writers do consent that ipse is he. Now, you are not ipse, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He, sir, that must marry this woman. Therefore, you clown, abandon which is in the vulgar leave, the society which in the boorish is company of this female, which in the common is woman, which together is abandon the society of this female, or clown thou perishest, or to thy better understanding diest, or to wit I kill thee, make thee away, translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage. I will deal in poison with thee, or in bastinado, or in steel. I will bend thee with the infection. I will overrun thee with policy. I will kill thee 150 ways. Therefore tremble and depart.
Do, good William.
God rest him, sir. Our master and mistress seeks you. Come, away, away.
Trip, Audrey. I attend.
Is it possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her? That but seeing you should love her, and loving woo, and wooing she should grant. And will you persever to enjoy her?
Neither called the giddiness of it in question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my sudden wooing, nor her sudden consenting. But say with me, I love Aliena. Say with her that she loves me. Consent with both that we may enjoy each other. It shall be to your good. for all of the revenue that was old Sir Roland's will I estate upon you, and here live and die a shepherd.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Thither while I invite the Duke and all his contented followers. Go you and prepare Aliena. For look you, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister.
Oh, my dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf.
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me your handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
Oh, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true. There was never anything so sudden but the fight of 2 rams and Caesar's thrasonical brag of I came, saw, and overcame. For your brother and my sister no sooner met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason, but they sought the remedy. And in these degrees have they made a pair of stairs to marriage. They are in the very wrath of love, and they will together. Clubs cannot part them.
They shall be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke to the nuptial. But, oh, how bitter a thing it is to look in happiness through another man's eyes.
Why then, tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you then no longer with idle talking. Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose. Believe then, if you please, that I can do strange things. I have, since I was 3-year-old, conversed with a magician, most profound in his art, and yet not damnable. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries it out, when your brother marries Aliena, shall you marry her? I know into what straits of fortune she is driven, and it is not impossible to me, if it appear not inconvenient to you, to set her before your eyes tomorrow, human as she is and without any danger.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life, I do, which I tender dearly, though I say I'm a magician. Therefore, put you in your best array. Bid your friends, for if you will be married tomorrow, you shall. And to Rosalind, if you will. Look you, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
You have done me much ungentleness to show the letter that I writ to you.
I care not if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him, love him. He worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of faith and service. And so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of wishes, and all made of passion, all adoration, duty, and observance, all patience, all humbleness, all impatience, all faith, all trial, all observance. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you? If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Who do you speak to? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor doth not hear.
Pray you no more of this. It's like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I will help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow, meet me all together. I will marry you if ever I marry woman, and I shall be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you if ever I satisfied man, and you shall be married tomorrow. I will content you if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. As you love Rosalind, meet. As you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. So fare you well. I have left you commands.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Salutation and greeting to you all.
Good, my lord, bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman that I have so often met in the forest. He has been a courtier, he swears.
Oh, if any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure, I have flattered a lady, I have been politic with my friend, smooth with mine enemy. I have undone 3 tailors, I have had 4 quarrels, and like to have fought 1.
And how was that ta'en up?
Oh, faith, We met and found the quarrel was upon the 7th cause.
How 7th cause? Good my lord, like this fellow.
Upon a lie 7 times removed. Bear your body more seeming, Audrey. As thus, sir, I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's beard. He sent me word if I said his beard was not well cut, he was in the mind it was. This is called the retort courteous. If I sent him word again it was not well cut, he would send me word he cut it to please himself. This is called the quip modest. If again it was not well cut, he disabled my judgment. This is called the reply churlish. If again it was not well cut, he would answer, I spake not true. This is called the reproof valiant. If again it was not well cut, he would say, I lied. This is called the counter-check quarrelsome, and so to the lie circumstantial in the lie direct.
And how oft did you say his beard was not well cut?
I durst go no further than the lie circumstantial, nor he durst not give me the lie direct, and so we measured swords and parted.
Can you nominate in order now the degrees of the lie?
Oh, sir, we quarrel in print, by the book, as you have books for good manners. I will name you the degrees. The first, the retort courteous. The second, the quip modest. The third, the reply churlish. The fourth, the reproof valiant. The fifth, the counter-check quarrelsome. The sixth, the lie with circumstance. The seventh, the lie direct. All these you may avoid with the lie direct. And you may avoid that too with an if. I knew when 7 justices could not take up a quarrel, but when the parties were met themselves, one of them thought but of an if. As if you said so, then I said so. And they shook hands and swore brothers. Your if is the only peacemaker. Much virtue in if.
Is not this a rare fellow, my lord? He's as good as anything, and yet a fool.
He uses his folly like a stalking horse, and under the presentation of that, he shoots his wit.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then, my love, adieu.
I'll have no father if you be not he. I'll have no husband if you be not he. Nor ne'er wed woman if you be not she.
Oh, my dear niece, welcome thou art to me, even daughter. Welcome in no less degree.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine. Thy faith my fancy to thee doth combine.
Proceed, proceed. We'll begin those rites as we do trust they'll end in true delights.